Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Amanda and in today's video we're going to be doing a little thrift flip. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this shirt out of a regular men's shirt, and I think along with jeans and t-shirts these are the absolute easiest thing to find at a thrift store. So you're going to start with a slightly oversized shirt, and of course the more fabric you have to work with the better. I also like mine to be a little bit loose, so just remember the fit you want when you're choosing your shirt. The shirts I used were short-sleeved, but if you can find some that are long-sleeved, then you will have even more fabric to work with. But this tutorial will be based on the short-sleeved shirts because that's what I had. There are so many different ways you can vary this design, and I just hope that you guys have fun with it. And if any of you decide to recreate this thrift flip, then I would love to see it, so please tag me. So, like I mentioned, I will be starting off with a short-sleeved men's shirt. The first step is to remove the front placket, but cutting as close to the seam as possible. At the same time, I'm removing the collar as well, giving me a clean slate to cut out my neckline. Then I'm cutting off both sleeves, again as close to the seams as possible. In order to shape the V-neck, I'm measuring about 8 centimeters from the top down and then cutting in a straight line to the shoulder seam. To make the sides symmetrical, I use the cut-off scrap of fabric as a guide. Okay, so when trying this on, I can see that I want to take a little bit more off the shoulder width and then of course crop it, and I want it to be a little bit below my belly button, and I might take the V-neck down a little further. I ended up trimming the armholes to make the shoulders a bit slimmer. Again, I used the first cutoff as a guide for the second one. Then I cut off the bottom part of the shirt to where I measured it on myself. Remember to leave a bit of extra length for the seam allowance. I also decided that I wanted to take in the sides a bit, so I cut off about 2 centimeters on both sides, front and back. Now is a really good time to serge or zigzag along all the raw edges. Okay, now we can actually start sewing. The first step is to sew the side seams together. I will be using a regular straight stitch for everything. So once I've pinned the sides together, I can sew with a centimeter of seam allowance. If you wanted, you could hem the armholes and make a sleeveless version, but I am reusing the sleeves from this one and removing all the seams, so I'm left with a clean open piece of fabric. We're going to put these away for now and then use the cuffs to make our straps to tie the front together. If your shirt didn't have short sleeves, that's okay. You just need 3 strips that are about 40 centimeters long and 3 to 3.5 centimeters wide. To make the straps, I'm folding in both sides and then folding it again on the middle. Then I'm closing everything in with a straight stitch down one side to make this neat strap. Now I only have 3 straps, so I'm folding and cutting each one in half, so I have 6 in total. Now it's time to place the straps on the front of the top, so I'm using a measuring tape to space them out the way I want them. I'm focusing more on the top part of the shirt and leaving a little bit of open space at the bottom. If you think there's too much of a gap, you can easily add more sets of straps. I'm attaching them to the inside of the front without having folded over any edges, and then I fold the front in and bend the straps out again so the ends are enclosed in the folded seam. I repeat this all the way down on both sides and top stitch along the edge to secure everything in place. Then I'm folding in the zigzagged edges along the neckline. I only fold in about 0.5 centimeter because I don't want it to be too bulky. I'm folding both pieces of fabric in half and cutting right along the middle where the top of the shoulder would be. Measure how long the sleeve is and cut out a rectangle of fabric that is matching height. The width of this piece will determine how much gathering you will need to do. I'm using some of the leftover fabric from the bottom of the shirt and cutting a rectangle for each of my sleeves. Now you can sew the two halves of each sleeve to the additional fabric and zigzag along all the edges. To gather the fabric at the shoulder, I am sewing right along the edge with really long stitches and not back stitching at either end. I repeat this with a second parallel line about 1/2 centimeter from the first one. Now you can pull on the two bottom threads to gather the fabric. Before attaching the sleeve to the armhole, connect the bottom hem of the sleeve right sides together and adjust the opening to match the armhole with the two gathering threads. I sewed the sleeve to the body with a straight stitch right between my gathering stitches. These two temporary stitches are removed carefully with a seam ripper, and yeah, now you only need to hem the sleeves and the bottom of the shirt, and that's it. I really love this thrift flip. It was so easy to do and I'm a huge fan of the outcome. I even made a second one with stripes because I enjoyed the process so much. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me, give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything, so I let her know. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to see more content like this, then you can follow me on my Instagram where I post a little bit more frequently. And otherwise, if you have any questions or ideas, feel free to leave a comment down below. And then I'll see you in my next video. Bye! You a queen that must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in a well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself.